All right, we're back. HSC Podcast weekly movie review. So this week we got into getting into Charlie Sheen movies. So we got three good ones for you. We're doing Wall Street, Navy SEALs, and Money Talks. Just real quick note, we're going to be doing some Robert Redford movies next week, but we always pay tribute and homage to greatness and actors. I mean, this is not as it's time for some of these guys, right? They just get so old that they can't hang around anymore. It's the younger ones that hurt more when you lose a great actor when they're a little younger. But so definitely pay a little tribute to Robert Redford. So Charlie Sheen movies. Let's start with Wall Street. So this was Wes's pick. And Wes, I mean, it's one of my favorite movies. So Wes, why'd you pick my favorite movie? Or not, or one of my favorites.
Well, I picked it because it was about a week, what, no, excuse me, a month or so ago. I go through the Best Picture nominees. I was looking for something, and I realized that this movie wasn't nominated, which I thought it was nominated. And I was like, what is going on here? I thought, how is this movie not nominated for Best Picture in the 80s? And it's not like it was a great year of films here. Well, this movie has so many great classic lines from Michael Douglas that it's just I mad because I had it taped and then it got somehow erased because I used to watch it all the time. If you want to learn anything about finance, you want to learn anything how how about how the rise of the stock market in the 80s is probably the best movie to watch. Um, Charlie Sheen comes in and he's the young up and coming broker. He wants to get in the game and he pitches stock to Michael Douglas, which Michael Douglas does not think that they were worthy to be to invest money in. And then he pitches his dad. His dad works for a company. He pitches stock about his dad's company, so he becomes interested, and Michael Douglas takes Charlie Sheen under his wing, and it's a great movie. Michael Douglas is superb and playing a stockbroker who doesn't care about anybody but himself, egotistical. Charlie Sheen is great as just the young guy that wants to be him, and then everything kind of turns upside down for uh, Charlie Sheen and his dad's company, and um, but there's some of the lines, like when he starts talking about capitalism and investing, when he's talking about paintings, the illusion has become real. That's real capitalism. Uh, if you need a friend, get a dog.
I
And
love
the
that
most
one.
classic one is greed is good. So, uh, say it's again, zero sum game. There's winners, there's losers, and we talk about football all the time. And I believe that in football, there's so many teams that, you know what? It's like they don't care anymore. They're not out there to win. Yeah, it's just a great movie overall. So
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it's a good point you make that, especially in the 80s when this came out, and for a long time. I mean, even a lot of it's still true today about the stock market, how things work. And obviously the big part of it, which is Charlie Sheen, when he first comes in, he wants to be this guy who plays by the rules, and he doesn't want to get in trouble. And he's like, oh, that's illegal. But that's how the stock market works for the non-average people, right? So you've got a bunch of people playing in the stock market that are playing by the rules, and you know, it's been able to make some money over time for a lot of people. But then you have the people like the Gordon Geckos of the world and these big companies of the world and these politicians of the world that are all taking advantage of the stock and insider trading and things like that. And that's really what the movie's about, besides Charlie's actual story. it's really about, what happens in the market and how these insider trading and information trading and things like that really affect it and how people get rich off of it. Obviously, Charlie Sheen in the movie wants to be a part of that and sacrifices his dad's company and all of his morals and gets caught in the end.
Well, he also he got duped. He didn't understand the difference.
Oh yeah.
Speculating, he took Gordon Gekko's word for it. It's like I'm going to rebuild the company. I'm not going to liquidate it or take to fire everybody. It's just and he didn't understand. He's like, well, sport. I changed my mind. I looked at the company and it looked like a company that could be basically taken over, and so
Yeah, and the he also, the way he covers his tracks and stuff like that, and you look at it, you're like, oh, this is just a movie, but this stuff is real, right? Like
yeah.
he makes him set up like offshore accounts and shell companies and things like that, and you're like, well, that's kind of how it's done, and that's how Michael Douglas covers his own self, with these guys like Bud Fox and these other lawyers and traders, right? So it's it's a little disappointing at the end. I don't want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, but like how he kind of like how it ends is just kind of ridiculous to me. But it's still a
Well,
great movie.
it's funny to me. You're watching and you have Hal Holbrook and Martin Sheen the whole time telling him, chill out, slow your roll, things happen. And he didn't listen to either of them. And like Hal Holbrook was the old veteran
Right.
guy there, and he's like, it's ebbs and flows, man. You're going to be up at one point, you're going to be down at another. You're not always going to stay at the top. And like, Charlie Sheen's character, Bud Fox, was this, thought he knew everything. And I love the acting in it was so great. I love John C. McGillney because I also, yes, I also watched because I went down a rabbit hole, Charlie Sheen. I watched Platoon, and they're both in it together, and
Yeah.
it's both Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone did Platoon first, and then during Platoon, he like got Charlie to do Wall Street. And it is crazy. I did not know that it wasn't nominated for Best Picture, which is so insane.
I know
Platoon,
I swear it was. I don't understand. It's like because I have I have movies that should have been nominated, and I have a list of them, a long list, and I'm like, it wasn't on there, and I'm like, I thought it was nominated.
I mean, Michael Douglas won for Best Actor, but
Yeah,
well, maybe it's because Platoon won the year before. Maybe they weren't going to be giving Oliver Stone two,
Oh.
two in a year, two in a row.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also like you're watching it as an adult now, like when we were watching it as kids, and we're like, man, you're so stupid. Why are you signing this?
yeah,
I mean, the lawyer, like Saul Rubinick's character is like, okay, now listen, this is means you're the only one
yeah,
Right.
on
All the
the
responsibility falls on you.
Yes, it's like he's laying it out. He's telling him,
yeah.
"You're the one that's going to get screwed."
If things, yeah, it goes bad,
Yeah, it's all
it's
on you.
all on you.
Well, it's, like you're saying, it's not just that he thinks he knows everything because he does have that, he gives off that aura, and that's part of his character. And Charlie Sheen's actually really good at playing that type of character because he probably like that in real life. But he also, I think the story is about taking shortcuts, right? And that's when you're talking about getting advice from the guys that he works with, been there for a long time, tell him about ups and downs. He just wants to take the shortcuts through the business, and that's the easiest shortcut was through Michael Douglas's character, because he had all the money, but he was also the you get the most risk with that.
Right. Well, and then I totally forgot the whole subplot of him pretending to be maid
Oh
and,
yeah.
and going in and stealing
Yeah,
files.
so he's stealing information from the lawyer's office. He's also gets his buddy from college, to start
Yeah,
buying into it. And technically, even the guys at his office, but luckily they're stockbrokers, so it's not flagging some of that stuff. But all that stuff that he did was, on him.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like the ending very much. But it is what it is, right? You got to end it some way, and but still, it's a great movie. Watching as a kid, as a teenager, in my 20s, my 30s, and then watching it now, it means a little bit more now. But it was one of those motivational movies when you're like in your 20s because you're like, man,
I
I
want to
want to be
get that
rich.
money.
I want to get that money. So it's a great movie though. It's good to go and watch it again. It's been a little bit since I've seen it, but the first scene, Wes, you were talking about um, the quotes, and I couldn't tell you most of what he says in it, but when Charlie Sheen first walks into his office for the first time and he's on the phone, the stuff that he's saying on the phone and when he hangs up and somebody else calls back and forth, it's like all just the ultimate trash stockbroker stuff, like top of the game quotes. Like
Yeah.
it's so good. It's like that's what you would picture this guy. Like Michael Douglas just killed that scene. That's probably the best scene in the movie when he first walks into the office. But yeah, so overall, great one, and I think Charlie Sheen did a great job as well. I love that Martin Sheen's in it too, playing his father. Like that's kind of cool. So definitely a must see there. Let's go. We'll go back to Derek. We'll go to Money Talks, 1997. Chris Tucker, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, because to me, this, it came out and it was this one, and then you had Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins. And it's kind of the same type of deal, like, white guy, black guy, not having to work together, but not really jiving at all. And I loved it too because you had Charlie Sheen was more of the straight man in this comedy with Chris Tucker, which that's why I picked it. I was watching the whole reason about Charlie Sheen is Netflix has his documentary on there, and Chris Tucker goes on there and is talking about Charlie Sheen and all the stuff he was doing and partying, and so I was like, oh, I want to watch Money Talks again because I loved it when it first came out. Um, it's kind of an absurd story. You have Chris Tucker is a scalper, um, and Charlie Sheen is a investigative reporter, and Chris Tucker ends up getting arrested and was getting booked, and his transport got blown up, and um, this French guy was handcuffed to him, so they had to take him with them, and then you find out it's about diamond heist, and he has to take on the identity of Vic Damone Jr. and pretending to be a half Italian. Um, so it's kind of an absurd movie that's just kind of ridiculous and fun to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. It's kind of like Chris Tucker, not Rush Hour Chris Tucker, but not Friday Chris Tucker. Like he is a little different than both of those for him. He's playing that, small time hustler, the car wash and the scalping the tickets and all that stuff. The part where he gets, caught up in jail and then they put him on the transport with all these like murders and stuff like that, and then he's the only one, handcuffed to the terrorist or whatever this guy, a huge mafia French guy, whatever this guy is, right? And so it is kind of like everything that you expect is going to happen. And all you got to do is just think like over the top and that's going to happen. It's a very enjoyable watch. I actually really like the storyline of Charlie Sheen, and he's getting married and it's kind of that uh richer family type, and then he takes Chris Tucker there and you expect him to act one way, and then he pulls out the Victim Own Jr. and like fits right in. That her dad starts to really like him, and then he like finds out what he is. It's kind of a
Yeah.
that's kind of a good fun part of the plot too. I liked how they worked that in. So overall, it's worth the watch for sure. Um, it's not the highest quality acting in the world, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. And when I was watching, I was like, "Oh, I remember this part. I remember this part." Um, the interview scene, like that, but Charlie's interviewing Chris Tucker, and he's just like, it's just classic Chris Tucker.
Right.
I haven't even seen a Chris Tucker movie in probably like 10 years. And so it's just like remembering all the lines that, yeah, when he's in jail and then he's on the bus is the best. But it's just Chris Tucker's mannerisms. He could sit there and it's not even what he says sometimes. It's just, the look he gives you. Um, and then Charlie Sheen, it's just like, yeah, it's a different role for him. Uh, yeah, it's an entertaining movie. Paul Sorvino's in the movie. It's like, all right, like, one of his last movies, I would say yeah, it's just entertaining. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of physical comedy that Chris
yeah,
Tucker's really good at. And it always a lot of times it comes down to like singing in the car or something like that. He's always doing that. Or like just dancing around or his quick little moves he does. So you gotta love that part of Chris Tucker as an actor. Like you
it's
don't get that from everybody.
it's like when he's counting the money. Just even like so small things where he's counting the
Right.
money, and then Charlie Sheen shows up, and he's like,
Well, he still didn't even care, which is the great part.
yeah,
He's like, I'm here to
yeah.
see why you're scamming people, and he's like, doesn't even care.
Yeah, it's like then he's still counting the money.
That that was one part though. I remember so that car wash part. You're watching it, and you're like, this is so like old school script writing when they have Charlie do the have the cops come and they go to and he points them out and then he does the little nose flick,
Yeah,
to like signal to the cop that that's the dude and you're like, come on, what are we doing here? Is this like a 1960s detective show?
yeah. So it's like when he's getting ready for the interview, and he takes off his shirt, and then instead of like pulling your pants up, where he pulls his pants down, kind of.
Yeah.
He's got like, you know,
And he
Uh,
starts dropping F-bombs and stuff right away.
yeah.
right. He's like, cut. You can't swear. But yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
here's this funny trivia. The scene where Chris Tucker's in the jail cell and Faison Love is sitting next to him.
Oh man.
That
Yeah,
was
yeah,
wasn't even in the script. It was Faison just, because Faison was a big worm on
Right.
Friday, and he was just there visiting. And they're like, "Hey, let's just do a scene together." And
Nice.
it took 89 takes because they just kept laughing the entire time. When like he's like, "Oh yeah, I just take this."
Dude, I mean, come on. How could you keep a straight face in that scene?
How did he
Especially for
grab
two
you?
guys, that know each other. And Faison just played that so well.
He's like, "Oh, how did he grab you like this?"
He's like this. He's like, yeah, yeah, like that. And he's like, oh, like this. Or and then all of a sudden his shirt's off, and he's like, why's your shirt off? Oh man, it's good. It's fun. So good fun. Money talks. Charlie Sheen, Chris Tucker. All right. Well, third movie here, Navy SEALs. So this is 1990, Charlie. Um, and Michael Biehn is man, he's really good in this movie too. But I actually forgot because I hadn't seen this movie in a while. So when we decided we're gonna review Charlie Sheen, I was like, looked at this one, I was like, I have to watch this again. It's been probably 10, 15 years minimum. But well, overall, what it is, obviously, it's what it is. Navy SEALs, right? Like, there's not a lot of of explanation needed. I mean, they have some good, cool storylines, but really, what is it about? It's about a team of SEALs who go out on missions together, and they're really good at what they do. Charlie Sheen plays like the crazy, uh, this is the only part I don't like about it. You don't have Navy SEALs that are like rogue Navy SEALs, hotheads, right? Most Navy SEALs, they're really about their job, their duty. They follow the rules. That's why they're Navy SEALs, right? So to have like the hothead Navy SEAL where you're not following orders and doing stuff, that was a little bit for me. I'm like, come on now, but they really do a good job at tying his character and Michael Bean's character in together, and Rick Rossovich, great role for him too. And then Bill Paxton also, like, so you got all these just great actors in it. Bill Paxton is one of my favorites because everybody loves the sniper up in the bell tower, right? And they're like, you see us, God, and he's shooting a sniper with a 50 cal. Like, who does that, right? But there's obviously some story to it. They're trying to find some Stinger rockets, and they had a chance to get them, they didn't, and then they want to go back to get it, and unfortunately, you have some of the guys in the group, in the team that die in the line of duty, and so it's that's the kind of story it is, right? It's any military story. You're gonna have casualties, and you're gonna have these Black Ops missions, especially when you're doing Navy SEALs. But it's fun to watch. I just love this type of movie personally, and being an older one, I think they did a pretty good job of um, showing like what a real op looks like. And even though there was a few things you question, for the most part, they're going into places and getting extracted from places. Like, it's just really cool how they do that. So love the movie overall. Charlie Sheen did a great job, but he was overshadowed by a few other guys in the movie as well. So good movie, definitely worth the watch.
Yeah, you forgot about Dennis Haysbert,
Yeah,
Serrano.
I know, dude, but it's like I hate that they killed him off.
Yeah, well, that was what the whole plot device was of him.
Right.
And that's like you said, dude, if that would have happened, he would have been court-martialed so fast because it's like, dude, you eh, got your guy killed because you went against orders. And then I was like thinking, okay, so is this a trope out there now? Like, do you really want to be a sniper in these war movies? Because I was thinking about Bill Paxton, you got Barry Pepper and Saving Private Ryan. It's like, aren't these guys supposed to be the safest, but they keep dying in
Yeah.
movies?
Well, because you don't want to be the
One,
sniper in like close combat, right? You want to be the sniper way out on the hill or
yeah. But what's interesting is, I guess I was reading about it also, and the golf scene was originally written to be football.
oh, interesting.
And but they're like that. It's too. Rick Rossovich is like that's too close to Top Gun
Yeah,
Yeah.
with volleyball.
it's too much Top Gun. Yeah,
So they're like, oh, let's do golf. And Bill Paxton directed that part.
yeah,
Yeah, it's funny because it's like he's like, you got to take some time, get away, and then they're like, they go golfing, right? And then that's like all they show them doing. It's like that's your guys' time away, like one day on a golf cart, take some pictures, ram your golf carts into each other, and you're like, okay, back to the mission. What do you got, Wes?
well, I, I've seen, I remember parts of this movie, and so watching it, I was like, I don't think I've really seen the whole thing through. But the first thing what it takes me back to is, we talked about Charlie Sheen, like that part of it, it just seems like a lot of Hollywood. But again, it's a 1990 movie, but really it's kind of like an 80s movie. It's like that's when it was the last of the 80s movies where you had things that they just put in because of entertainment. But just remembering as a teenager, you look at wanting to be a firefighter and then the requirements. Well, I looked at Navy, watched Navy SEAL videos and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And then realizing that you have to be super, super, super dedicated, and it's not a place for clowns. And so the Charlie Sheen part, which is cool in the beginning, where he jumps off the bridge, that the whole conversations about marriage, and then they're getting married. The one dude's getting married, and then like everyone's like, okay, we gotta go. And then they cancel the wedding, and Charlie Sheen's like, there is a God. It's like that part was hilarious. But again, yeah, it's Hollywood. The action's great. I really like the part where they go the military intelligence. They're trying to explain what went wrong and then who's to blame. They keep saying, "Well, it's the intelligence is wrong," and then I'm like, "Oh wait a minute, there's Bill Paxton," because I forgot he was in this movie.
Yeah, because he's
Uh,
got the hair.
yeah, he's got the hair, but Michael Bean's, it was crazy. It's like, oh yeah, it's been that it shows you how you have those actors that were never A-listers, but they're always around for 3 or 4 years in a lot of movies. And that time frame where you go from the Terminator to there, it's like okay, and then they disappear, and you're never seen from again. So yeah, I enjoyed the movie. Just there's a lot of things that I forgot, but that was the Halo jump. Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah, when they jump out at 30,000 feet,
yeah,
that's nuts.
yeah,
Well, and like you were saying, was Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton were in a bunch of movies together. They
Yeah.
had Terminator, they had Aliens, they
yeah,
had Tombstone, and this.
yeah. That's right. He's in Tombstone too.
It's funny. I talked about that earlier, but you mentioned the jump. That's kind of what I really enjoy about the movie because that's not the only time they do that. But the reason they have to do that, right, is because they're trying to stay out of airspace, so they're trying not to get seen. And so it's so funny when you think about it because this really happens, right? Where they're like, "Oh, I guess you're just gonna have to swim in," and they're
Yeah,
like, "So not only do you got to jump from 30,000 feet, but when you hit, you're swimming in."
yeah.
Like that's what they expect of those guys.
Well, didn't they have the like a motorized scooter things underneath the water?
Well, yeah. So, well, when they come out of the sub, they like open the top and then they launch those things too.
The rubber. What do you the
The
inflate?
the uh the boats.
Yeah, the inflatable. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean you're probably not literally swimming 20 miles into the shore, but it's just crazy that it's like you're not dumping them into the off site. They just had crazy ways that they had to get there every
yeah.
time, and that
I'm
was a
surprised
very
that
cool part
movie
of the
hasn't
movie.
been. I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake that movie. Think about it and screw it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did, except that they put Demi Moore in it. And they called it G.I. Jane.
Oh, I remember. Oh, G.I. Jane. Jeez.
I
No,
mean,
that
go
wasn't
go
that.
go watch G.I. Jane now, and you tell me how much those movies are like.
Yeah.
Is
Still a
there a
great
cool
movie.
golf scene?
No, but they have some get away, blow off some steam. They all do. I think hers is on the beach with one of her one of her teammates. So Navy SEALs, 1990, Charlie Charlie Sheen movie. So we hit Money Talks, Navy SEALs, Wall Street. I mean, all three were definitely worth the watch. Didn't have any major complaints about these. And I think Charlie Sheen did a great job in almost all three of these. So, any other notable Charlie Sheen movies as we wrap up here?
Well, like, yeah, I watched also Platoon, and I think Platoon is the quintessential Charlie Sheen movie. It's funny because it's basically a mirror image of his dad's quintessential movie, Apocalypse Now, where they both narrate the whole war story. Yeah, I watched Platoon. I don't know how many times I've watched Platoon. I think Platoon is probably one of the greatest war movies of all time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely for Vietnam movies for sure. And Apocalypse Now is entertainment, but Platoon is like what happened. That's like it right there. Like It's the actualization of it. Um,
But when you look at him, though, I mean, so 2 years earlier in Red Dawn, that's one of my favorite movies. And so, he's obviously Patrick Swayze is the
Well, he is more of like
star,
a
but
side character because it's C. Thomas Howell and
right. But still, he's in the whole movie. He plays a big part in that, and then Platoon, then Wall Street, and then Young Guns, then Major League, and then
Men at Work.
Navy SEALs, and then, Hot Shots. Like this guy, he was just working there for that
Yeah.
period of the mid to late 80s, early 90s. Oh, Three Musketeers. Like I almost picked that. That's one of my favorite Charlie Sheens as well. He plays he always is like, go with God.
Yeah.
So actually a lot of good movies. Like a lot of other ones I wanted to pick too. Like it was hard not to say, let's just do Major League.
Right. Yeah, that's why I picked Money Talks because I haven't seen that one in a while. It's like I see Major League all every year because of baseball.
Right.
You got to watch Major League, and then I watch Platoon all the time. Yeah,
But I mean the first Young Guns, it's
right,
again, you still have Emilio Estevez, but he plays a huge role in that as the,
Mhm.
co-leader or whatever you want, like who they're battling
right.
for who's in charge.
Could have killed you.
Like a kid's dick could have killed you.
Can I just eat, please? I'm hungry.
All right. Well, any last Charlie Sheen?
You guys took them basically all of them, so it's like you got it. I was gonna do Youngins, but yeah.
Well, I
Major.
mean,
I mean, I just watched Major League, and it's been a while since I've seen that too. It's like, come on, that's a great Charlie Sheen movie.
It really is.
Wild Thing.
oh, yeah. I watched the if you have Netflix, go and watch the Charlie Sheen documentary. It's a two-parter, but it's only like basically it's like an hour, 40 minutes. But this is what's funny. There's a movie, and let me find it. His first movie he ever did was with George Clooney, and I gotta find the name of it. Oh, it's hilarious. Him and George Clooney are in it for about like 5 minutes. It's called Grizzly 2: The Revenge.
Wow.
Yes. And it's all hell breaks loose when a giant grizzly reacting to the slaughter of grizzlies by poachers attacks at a massive big band rock concert in a national park. And in the first kill, like it's George Clooney, Laura Dern, and Charlie Sheen
Nice.
before any of them were anything.
Yeah. I mean, then you can watch Grizzly 2: The Revenge.
Now I kind of want to watch it,
It's on Netflix.
and we'll do a review.
It is like they give, IMDb gives star ratings a 2.7.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, we didn't mention Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Or Lucas.
Drugs.
Drugs.
What are you for? Drugs.
Drugs.
Well, then they talk about that in the documentary. He's like, yeah, I stayed up for like
Yeah.
3 days just to get the look for that part.
Method. He's a method actor.
You could definitely tell he'd been up
Yeah.
for a while. Yeah, he's just done so much.
Well, and then, one I think we've already done we did was 8 Men Out.
right. But even you think, like even TV, when you go back to Two and a Half Men, a long stretch of that, and that was a really good show.
Well, in Spin City, him taking over for Michael J. Fox, and then
Right.
I think he won an Emmy for that or a Golden Globe. He won
Oh yeah,
something.
I mean, the 2.5 Men. I mean, how many? I mean, he's worked a lot over a pretty good period of time.
Right, right.
When you think about it,
Since
he went from
84.
movies, then he goes to TV. I mean, it's weird not seeing him around. I saw him a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, whoa, I haven't seen him for a bit. No,
Yeah, I mean, you can't imagine that he's gonna hold up too much longer, but you never know. Look at some of these rock stars and things like that. These guys seem to live forever.
Well, I guess he's been clean for 10
yeah,
years.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I was like, has it been that long? It's
That's
like,
hard to change though, what that does to your body,
yeah,
even when you stop. So hopefully Charlie lives a good long life. All right, well, we'll wrap that up there with weekly movie review, Charlie Sheen movies. And yeah, if you guys still listen, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.